Hello Toy Collector fans, Universal Toy Collector here, and welcome to the channel. And welcome to another episode of My Collecting Life, the weekly series where I get to chat with you, members of the toy collecting community, about your own personal collections, finding out what got you into collecting in the first place, and what gives you that toy collecting buzz. Alrighty then, so who is the guest on this week's episode, I hear you all ask? Well, why don't we all find out? Sit yourselves down, put your feet up and make yourselves comfortable, and let's take a look at some of his collection in a musical montage. Righty ho then, once again we are treated to an absolutely fantastic collection, and it is a pleasure to welcome to the channel once again Daniel, also known as EdFive. G'day mate,
G'day,
how are you?
G'day, Trent.
How are you doing? All
How
right?
are you?
I'm
doing
okay,
all
yeah,
right.
not
How are
too
you?
bad, not too bad. I understand it's fairly early in the morning for you, so what time are we talking about down in Australia?
6:30 in the AM here on a Sunday.
Wow. Wow. And I understand that you've got work as well afterwards.
Later today, yeah.
Later today.
Yeah, not till about 11 o'clock, so we've got plenty of
Wow.
time. Plenty of
Awesome
talking
stuff. Awesome stuff. Well, Daniel, thank you very much for being on the episode. Now, I don't know if there's any significance to it, but you opted to be episode 69. I don't know if there's a reason for that. And for those of you, episode 69, also episode 2 Can Chew. But there you are.
Or Breakfast of Champions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, so like I say, it's awesome to have you on the channel. So got 10 questions all about you and your collection. So when you're ready, sir, we'll crack on.
Yep, let's fire away.
Awesome stuff. Right. What toy lines were you into as a kid, and what memories do you have of those toy lines?
So my first action figure, from which I got from about the age was uh, um, the Mork and Mindy was big, um, in around '78, and
Yeah.
so two around the age of 2, 3, I had both the 3 3/4 inch size, or I think it was actually 4 inches. It was a little bit bigger than the Star Wars figure, which came with an egg, so he Mork with his
Yeah.
egg. But also this one, this obviously is my childhood one, but
Oh, awesome. Let's get you on the
I
screen
had
there.
this 12 inch
Look at that.
12 inch dogger,
Yeah.
and yeah, he went everywhere with me. Anytime we went out shops or whatever, he came with me type thing. Comes with a backpack and got one of the old pull string ones, so when he pulls the string, it talks to you and he
Awesome.
says no, 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 and all sorts of stuff. But so yeah,
So
sitting
just with that, Dan, sorry, he's
you're right.
upside down in the packaging. Is that how he came, or was that?
Yeah, he's actually packaged upside down, because he used to hang in the or sleep in the cupboard as well.
Oh, so that's done. That's
It's
done purposely then.
like that. It's
Oh wow. Oh
so
wow.
this is mint in box. It's still sealed.
Look at
Tape
that.
there.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So but yeah,
Wow.
love this guy. I think 'cause I think he lost his boots at one stage, but yeah, there was it. So that's the one that I also had, which was the figure with the egg.
Yeah.
Um, so and then obviously there's Mork as a Chucky doll and Pam.
Wow.
So
Wow.
you can get Pam in this size as well.
Yeah. That is
Yeah,
awesome.
no, fantastic show. Yeah, my go-to whenever it was. Used to watch it all the time, and sit there with my action figure and play. But also, so Mork was a big part of, and definitely my first action figure.
Yeah.
Um, then from there, it went on to like plastic. It's so politically incorrect now; it's ridiculous. But cowboys and Indians, like they were the same as like the army figures, but they
Yeah.
were
Yeah. 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 I remember
molded
those. Yeah.
plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a base type thing, and yeah, they had all different poses, and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, set it all up, and then knock them over when they'll fight each other. And,
That's it.
and you had tanks and flags and all sorts of stuff,
Yeah.
little fences and
Wow.
forts, and yeah, so that and those sort of things is first childhood toys. Then obviously, sort of late '70s, I saw Star Wars,
Yeah.
and then fell in love with it like every other kid, because why wouldn't you? Yeah, so I started getting into Star Wars figures, and then in 1980, when Empire came out, actually when we saw it at the drive-in, so that
Okay.
was my first drive-in movie that I can remember as
Wow.
well. And even it was night time, it's raining. You're sitting there with the windscreen wipers going and watching a movie on the big screen. It was fantastic.
That
Um,
must have been an awesome experience.
Look, I don't know if you've still got drive-ins over in the UK, but they are sort of still
Not
few
many.
and far between over here.
Yeah.
So even till just before pre-COVID, there was still a drive-in in Adelaide. So I'm
Yeah.
obviously 3 hours from Adelaide, but back then I was living in Adelaide, and so yeah, I still used to take the kids to see movies at the drive-in, because it's just such a different experience to going to a cinema type thing as well.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there. Usually they have you going. They've got a snack bar that you walk to. You've got the speaker that you have it all digitally nowadays, but yeah, you used to have the speaker that you hang on the on the side window type thing to get your
Oh wow.
sound through, and popcorn and choc tops and all that goodness,
How
you know
cool.
what I mean? So,
Awesome.
but yeah, I'm also like a big media collector. So media, it's you know, in anything pop franchise. So whether it be Ghostbusters or Star Wars or Indiana Jones, all that sort of thing. Used
Yeah.
to like relish and love being able to seeing it for the first time, either at the drive-in or at the cinema, was awesome. You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
but
I
yeah,
mean, I'm guessing you saw. I'm guessing you saw Star Wars before Empire Strikes Back.
I saw Star Wars before Empire.
Yeah.
Um, uh, so I think it was actually came out on the telly here, and so it would have been late '79
Yeah.
in the lead up to Empire, which I think in Australia came out sort of towards the end of 2000 and 2000 1980. Sorry, people at 6:30 in the morning. What can I do? But yeah, definitely saw Star Wars first, and I think because Dad was also quite good, so we were lucky enough to have. I think our first recorder was a Betamax, so
Oh
it was
wow.
recorded on Betamax on VHS.
Wow.
So I had that copy that we got played to death until um, eventually they did release them on VHS. Which up until recently still had. But anyway,
Yeah.
anyway. But yeah, no. So getting back to after Morka and Cowboys and Indians and Army soldiers did have quite a lot of the Hammerhead and what I call Arseface or Walrus Man.
Yeah.
He
Forest Man. Yeah.
they were my first two actually figures that Star Wars figures that I got was Hammerhead and
Oh,
Walrus
okay.
Man.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
I actually
See,
had
for
the
me,
only
they were
as
very
most.
hard to come by in the UK. Those figures. Once
Yeah,
the Empire Strikes Back came out, those it was all Empire Strikes Back figures in the UK. So to find any figure from A New Hope or Star Wars as it was then was really difficult because like the original Princess Leia, Han Solo, Hammerhead, Walrus Man, really difficult to find in the UK after that, after 1980.
but
But
again, like we all talk about, it was going into whatever toy shop it may have been, and there was just
yeah,
stacks and stacks of hanging. It's all hanging there type thing, so you could
yeah,
dig through it. Eventually, you'd find the one that you're looking for type thing, and it was right throughout growing up, like there was always that abundance of the different figures that you could get as well. So
yeah.
it was just amazing. And then I reckon Christmas of '81 was when I actually got my first. So the Hoff playset. I remember
Okay, yeah,
vividly playing on my Polish grandmaster, my Bupsh's floor with a couple of new crispy minty action figures that were ripped off their bubble, and everything was
awesome.
played with on that Christmas morning type
Yeah,
thing.
I
But
bet.
yeah, the Hoff play set was that that and the Tauntaun. That's what I love most about um, that franchise is when those sort of things came out. It was just
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
It was
And
a,
what are the
a
toy lines?
whole
Oh, sorry. So
No,
no, go on. Sorry.
it was a whole different immersive. So once you started being able to build, do you remember? I mean, you might not. My grandmother, so my butcher, she had these floral, like a really florally like settee, lounge suite, couch,
Yeah,
whatever you want to call it,
yeah,
type thing. And
yeah.
it
I
was
know the
like
ones
this
you mean. Yeah,
golden. It was like this gold embossed like leaf and flower pattern on it with
okay.
carved wood handles and stuff. And
Yeah,
between that and the armchair, there was like this little magazine thing, which was sort of like a teepee type thing. And
okay.
that became the Empire, the Imperial base type thing, which is awesome. So,
how cool was that though? Because I mean, back then, kids, we didn't have big play sets or big lavish toys, so to speak, like we do today with some of the stuff that they're producing for kids and older collectors. But I mean, we could use anything to make a base, couldn't we? An old bit of furniture,
yeah.
a bedside table, anything like that, just to be part of the part of the game or part of the playability.
The imagination just ran so wild, I think,
Yeah,
and
absolutely. Yeah.
Aaron was limited. Like, doesn't matter what it was, if it was because even integrating the Lone Ranger into the Star Wars universe, for argument's sake, because or Indiana Jones figures into the Star Wars universe, or even Walk, for example. Like I said, he was a little bit taller, but he was still an alien, so he was all in there type thing, and they're all playing with each other. Getting back to your question, so from Star Wars, it sort of progressed. I did have Lone Ranger and Tonto figures, 3 3/4 inch, Indiana Jones, had some of them, and then from there it went into Master Universe. So I had a ton of He-Man. Had Castle Grayskull, which was my sort of, apart from the Hoth base, that was my first, big, that was a sizable sort of beast type thing. And then you start playing master, integrating them into the play type things. So
wow.
awesome. It's just so much fun. Like,
but the thing is, it makes you wonder how kids of today are going to look back on their childhoods when they're say our age, because I mean I think we were definitely, with the golden generation, with the properties that were out. I mean, we had Star Wars when it first came out, we had Master of the Universe, we had like Thundercats, Transformers, G.I. Joe. I mean, we were relatively quite lucky, and so many more as well. We were quite lucky as kids back in the 80s.
Even I can remember with my kids type thing, like, so again, they sort of weren't sport, but I can remember having a clear out type thing, and they're getting rid of all the stuff that, if it was me, for argument's sake, at the age of 10 and 11, I wouldn't have been getting rid of it. You know what I mean? Like, not by choice, but they were willingly getting rid of it because they didn't play with it anymore, because they had a Wii or a gaming console type thing. The DSs and stuff like that. So once those little handhelds and stuff came in, they, with the exception of probably my middle child, because she was collecting like a sort of I forget what the line was called now, but it was like a mini pet shop line type thing, and she was quite into that, even into sort of
not Polly in your pocket, is it, or something like that? Polly Pocket?
No, it was a more modern version of this. This is sort of late 90s, early 2000s toys, mate, we're talking about now. But I remember like there was kittens and puppies and all different, little parrots and stuff. It was like My Little Pet. It was My Little Pet Shop, I think it was actually called. So, she was quite into that. Awesome. And she was probably the one that was still playing the most. But like I said, by the age of 12, she was done. You know what I mean? She was. They moved on from their dolls or whatever. And I was still playing up until the age of, we never stopped playing with toys, but physically playing with them by the age of 14, 15, I had nothing else to do. If I wasn't out riding a bike, I'd be still, building, because so at that age, 14, 15, I was getting into things like Starials and Starcom and that sort of little, again, world building with the different ships. It was all sort of mechanical type thing where you press a button and the wings would fall down, and the Starcom and stuff like that. And they had magnets and they're all spacey and space Lego and stuff like that as well. So
So you had quite a few toys then as a kid, out of all of them, what would you say was your favorite, and why?
Like I said, I think Mork really stands out for me the most, just because that was from day apart from teddy bears or in your pram type thing. That's my first sort of childhood memory from the age.
Yeah,
Like I said, 2 and 3, like he was a massive part. Like it would go with me everywhere. I'd be constantly like the guy had no pain on his face anymore, even up until again. I've had him up and right through to I've had him for like 48 years. You know what I mean? So
wow,
up
wow,
until recently, it was something that was just played with to death, if you
wow.
want. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
so, yeah, same with the 12-inch walk. Like, eventually the rubber bands and stuff broke, and he was
yeah,
shocked out because our toys were played with until they died, or we melted them with cigarette lighters and stuff like that because they're in fights. Or I remember I had a faker where his hands had been mangled or something, and I replaced them with hooks. And so, like like those little hooks that you.
yeah.
So I just wound those into the nubs on the stumps type thing,
Wow.
and fake it. Fake it was then a hook man. You know what I mean? So he was the ultimate fake He Man because he had no hands. He had magical hooks.
Wow.
So, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
You touched on it just a minute ago when you said about you were playing with your toys up to the age of 14. I mean, did you go beyond that when you were playing with your? Well, it's basically the question is, when did you stop playing with your toys, and when did you
Yeah.
become a collector?
I vividly remember it would have been around the age of 14, maybe into the 15, because I was also heavily into scouts and eventually went into venturers. So that was sort of my focus right up until I was 18, if you want, type thing, before going into working
Yeah.
life. But apart from that, always riding bikes. So as soon as I got my first 10-speed Repco bike, me and my mate we were out of there type thing. Just again, you leave early, sometime in the morning, and you come back at night time type thing when the lights are coming on. There was no mobile phones, nobody could contact you type thing. You were just off
Yeah.
and out of there type thing. So yeah, definitely by the age of late 14, maybe early 15, I would had stopped playing with my toys, but
Yeah.
kept them. Everything was still, stored away, whatever. I even card backs and collector cards. Like, so I had an old Bicky tin, which was full of like trading cards and my card backs, and the tele, file cards from G.I. Joe, because that was a part of my around the same time as He-Man. I did get into G.I. Joe as well, which
Yeah.
was always G.I. Joe. He was never Action Force or anything like that. So that was sort of
So what got you back into collecting them?
um, again, I think it was because I was in the toy aisles when my eldest was born type thing. So I sort of stumbled across the whole Power of the Force thing, the jacked up Star Wars
Yeah.
figures
Yeah.
by Kenner, and just sort of okay, it was different card and they looked different, but it was Star Wars. You know what I mean? I hadn't seen anything Star Wars for ages. So
Yeah.
not only was I buying stuff for the kids, but yeah, I was just collecting it all and just hoarding it. Was a good term for it because I wasn't playing with it. It was just going from a shop into a box and it was just stored away. So it was
Yeah.
definitely just hoarding it away, squirreling away for a rainy day because like everyone, these will be worth something back in, later
Oh,
on in life
yeah.
type
God, everybody
thing.
jumped on that bandwagon, didn't they, when the old Powered Force 2 figures came out?
That's it.
Good
but
God.
it just never eventuated. But so yeah, it was sort of late 90s, getting back into collecting. And then with the birth of the internet, and eBay, that's when things like this, I started going hunting for my childhood again.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was, one of my first eBay purchases, for example. Um, so yeah, in late 90s, early 2000s, just sort of started repiecing different things or finding things that had been lost, like that 12-inch guy, for example.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got back into it late 90s, and then went off from there type thing. But I never had actually a lot to do with the comics in terms of keeping them type thing. I had a lot of comics and things that I read as a kid,
Yeah.
but not so much Marvel or Star Wars. It was more like Richie Rich and Casper the Ghost and Audrey. And so, again, all those things would have been valuable now, but they're all long gone type thing because
Yeah.
it was just bits of paper.
Mm.
That didn't hold any sentimental value to me like the toys did, for argument's sake. So,
Yeah. Yeah. What?
yeah.
So what? Like in toy lines, what toy lines do you currently collect?
Um, well, I do TVC,
Yeah.
so Star Wars TVC, Black Series to an extent. I was sort of dialing back Black Series when they started going with their
Yeah.
whole windowless box
Plastic
type
free.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. And um, but bit of everything. So anything pop culture. So like anything Back to the Future, JB cars, statues. So
Yeah.
DC high-end statues. Obviously, Black Series stuff is more helmets and swords, stuff like that.
Is that the dark saber in
Um,
the background there?
yeah, that's the dark saber.
Hang on, let's just have a look. We'll have a look at the stuff in your background there. So Back to the Future lunchbox, that looks like, isn't it?
Yeah, Back to the Future on Fox. Beautiful.
Wow. I
And
love those. I think they are so cool.
yeah, dark saber. So this is the Wonder Woman
Yeah.
premium format statue. And then obviously on this side we've got the Ghostbusters Proton Pack, which was a
Yeah.
Hasbro as well. So that
Okay.
came out around the
You
same
you
time as
you
the
were
Razor
saying
Crest.
you were saying in the green room that they're doing another one. So what is going to be the difference between the one that you've got and the one that they're doing now? Let me just get you a
So
full screen there.
the next Ghostbusters Hasbro is the Ghost Trap and the PKM emitter. That's
Right.
basically used in the library type thing. So
Yeah.
it's a two for the price of one. So two is that they actually branded it two in the box is what they've called it type thing. So
Okay.
yeah, the PK meter, which is fully functional, and the Ghostbusters Ghost Trap, again fully functional, opens and all that sort of stuff. And there's all harnesses and clips and stuff that you can put onto
Wow.
a costume, and you can gear up and pack up and
Mm.
start to meet the Ghostbusters. So, but
That's
and
pretty awesome.
from my understanding, they actually smashed it. So they've reached all their tiers. It's still got a few days to go before it
Yeah.
finalizes. I think it finishes on the 11th
Mm.
of December, and yeah, so it's well surpassed 18,000 backers from my
Wow.
understanding.
Wow. I bet
So
no one was doubting that back in there, were they? No one was doubting that
it
being
was the
back.
same. It was the same thing. Smashed all its backing as well type thing because
Yeah.
the Ghostbusters community is obviously not as prolific as a Star Wars collector, for argument's sake, but there's obviously a big enough worldwide audience for people to get excited
But
and fully fund their Hasbro tiers type thing, which is
Yeah. I
pretty
mean,
impressive.
you say that, Daniel, but you saying that the latest Ghostbusters HasLab has smashed its tiers already, and there's still a few days left to go. That never happened with the Ghost. That never happened with the
But
Ghost. That was
never
was
happened
given
with the
to the
Ghost.
last tier on the very last day.
But even you and I both got the Sky Striker. That never reached all its all its tiers either. You know what I mean?
Well, no, that's
Um,
true. Yeah, yeah,
you know what I mean? So even the GI Joe stuff hasn't fully reached all its tiers type thing. But like I
yeah,
said, the Ghostbusters has surpassed all its unlocking tiers 2 times over now.
yeah. But
Which
that's
is
that's the thing.
quite
That's the amazing thing, because you said there's not such a big community, or it's not as big as Star Wars or what have you. But
or as well known. I just don't know of too many collectors. Obviously, we've got a massive collector group that we're part of. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, so in Australia, so there's myself that has one of these, and
yeah,
Ryan, the collector kid, who's over in WA. You know what I mean?
okay,
He's part of. He's sort of. But there's obviously quite a few of these because there's Ghostbuster. What do they call them? Clubs. So like, for example, the different states of Australia, they each have their own Ghostbusters fraternity, if you want.
Oh,
Where
really?
they
Okay.
do cons and events and stuff like that, and they've all got
Oh,
different
wow.
Ghostbusters logo patches and stuff like that. So,
Oh, wow.
um, um, and worldwide, like, so there is a Ghostbusting channel that is on YouTube, and
Yeah,
Jason's up in Canada, and he does Ghostbuster news type thing, for example. So, yeah, pretty massive worldwide, but they're um, sort of unique is because I mean, yes, Ghostbusters has toys, but not to the same extent as what G.I. Joe or
yeah,
Star Wars. It was type thing, whereas the Ghostbusters stuff never came out until like the definitely. I mean, apart from the real Ghostbusters, you didn't
yeah.
have the original Ghostbuster toys until the 90s, 2000s. You know what I mean?
Wow,
So
wow,
yes,
wow.
but
You also collect oh, what do you call them? Signatures and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
whose signature would you really like to have in your collection? It could be, well, obviously it has to be someone you haven't met yet. Otherwise, you wouldn't want their signature, would you? I suppose, because you've already got it.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, I state the obvious at times, don't I? Bloody hell. So, yeah. So, whose signature would you really like? What star would you really like to have to meet and get their
um,
signature?
See, this is the irony as well. Like a signature that I would love. I mean, I've got Arnie's, so I've got most of my heroes I've got, but I would love to get a Harold Ramis.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Now that hard to come by, probably because he's again not around anymore. But yeah, I'd like to get the Ghostbusters. So Dan Aykroyd,
yeah,
Bill Murray, Harold Ramis, those guys type thing.
yeah.
Because yeah, I've got Arnold, I've got different Star Wars autographs,
Mm.
Stan Lee's autograph I had, um, but yeah, I've recently acquired Clint Eastwood's autograph, so I'm
Oh,
mindful
wow.
of the fact that these stars aren't going to be around forever. So
Yeah,
I'm sort of,
yeah. Would
or if luckily being in Australia, so sometimes when news drops, if someone passes, because it's our daytime, I can, or because I'm a night owl, I put weird hours anyway. And if there's breaking news of someone that died, my first inkling is to just jump on eBay straight away and see what I can snaffle up type thing. So I did
wow,
the
yeah,
same for like Carrie Fisher when she passed, for argument's sake, and Sean
yeah,
Connery, things like that. But again, our stars or people that we grew up with, they're also aging. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
they will
that's
age.
weird, isn't it? That's weird because when I look at them now, it's like I'm watching a series with Georgie. It's 1923, and Harrison Ford, bless him, he looks so old because he is, but he looks really aged in it, and it's such a shame because I remember him as a young man as Han Solo, as Indiana Jones, and all those other. You just don't at that time ever think that they're ever going to get old. Do you know what I mean? It's so weird, isn't
Exactly.
it?
Well, and the reason why I sort of was drawn into autographs as well is because I like to, with pieces, I do like to have what they call a companion piece. So, like,
Yeah,
whether it be a pop or whether, if it's a hot toy for argument's sake. So, the reason why I got for the Clint Eastwood photo autograph is one, again, he's a cowboy legend type thing.
yeah,
But Hot Toys were making like the Peacemaker and that from Fistful of Dollars, and so they're bringing out two or three different Indiana Jones, Clint Eastwood Hot
yeah.
Toys,
Okay.
and so I would actually display them both together if I
If you,
can, you
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah,
would you like, because my next question is, and it can lead into it kind of segues into this quite nicely. If you could go to any convention in the world and meet any star in the world that's alive at this moment in time, who would it be? Because would you like to, are you quite happy, obviously, getting your signatures without actually meeting the people? Would you prefer to meet the people, then get the signatures from them at that time at a convention?
100%. Yeah, it's such a buzz to be able to meet these people that we, um, you know,
Yeah,
we've watched for years and years. Obviously, celebration would be an ultimate goal to get your maximum quota of Star Wars signatures, for argument's sake, like your Katie Sackhoffs and Tam Morrisons and stuff like that.
mm,
Because again, not everyone comes down here, and if they do, they might go to one state, but they won't go to every state because they're
yeah,
all on different times. That's a bit of a downside as well. Um, but yeah, so outside of Star Wars Celebration for Star Wars autographs, for argument's sake, um, I would, I'd love to get to either New York or San Diego Comic Con,
yeah,
just because the actors and different old generation TV celebs that they get there to those sort
yeah.
of things are pretty awesome. I'd love to have a Christopher Lloyd autograph. Um, um, what was I going to say? Michael J. Fox, unfortunately, I probably have to source that second. But he's just not doing signatures anymore or
Yeah,
autographs anymore.
yeah,
Even, give it 2 years where it's going to be the 40th anniversary of Back to the
yeah,
Future, for
yeah.
argument's sake. I doubt that he's going to be doing too much, you know what I mean?
Mm,
I was fortunate enough to spend a whole day with Claudia Wells, who was the original Jennifer, so I have her
yeah.
autograph, for argument's sake. Um, uh,
So you're
but
saying about Star Wars Celebration? I mean, that's going to be in Tokyo in 2025, isn't it? So are you looking at
yeah,
getting out there to
I
celebrate?
am, mate. I am, only because I don't think it's going to come down to the southern hemisphere. I just don't. I mean, other people sort of would disagree with me, but I just don't think we have the crowds that would draw enough vendors and stuff like that to, because not only is it expensive for punters to go to these events, but
Mm,
yeah, if you were someone who had a stall or something to sell, they would also charge a fortune for it. And the population of Australia, I can't see it being, whether it be Australia, New Zealand, or Asian Pacific, or whatever you want to call it. Type, I just can't see the Asian market getting
yeah,
into it big enough. You know what I mean? Like, if you go to other countries in Asia, for argument's sake, it's very hard to find even a TVC figure, like a
yeah.
modern day Hasbro TVC figure in a shop. You know what I mean? Um,
Wow.
because I know of people that have sort of been to Thailand and places like that. Phil in Japan, you know, that I was speaking with him, like for example. So yeah, TVC in Asian countries doesn't seem to be as big a thing. Okay, Hot Toys is because obviously a lot of them they're sort of dolls. I mean, let's face it, they're the 12-inch bloody doll. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They look beautiful and everything else, but at the end of the day, it's a posable doll. So,
but then I mean, they've got their own sort of like toy lines, haven't they? They got what do you call them? SH Figure Arts. They got those kind of figures and stuff like that. Bandai, So they've got all their own sort of like,
is it Cobra Kia?
Yeah, I know the one you mean. I've got a few of those. They're pretty decent, and I can't pronounce it either. So I just I don't even bother trying.
Pretty sure it's
So they've got all their sort of like Star Wars bits within those sort of like lines, haven't they?
Again,
Really?
they're not toys, are they? They're
No.
there's something you put on a shelf. You know what I mean? It's If you were a little kid and somebody gave you that, like a thing which clips together, it has a magnetic base type thing, and there you go. Go play with that, Timmy. Timmy's not going to play with that. It's rubbish. It's a piece of shit. You know what I mean? So,
Well, that's a kid's way of looking at it, I guess. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? I'd rather go and play on Xbox or PlayStation. You know what I mean? So that's where I think the market's changed. Again, it's still a very probably Western market. So for all these collectibles that we buy and keep type thing, whether it's carded or loose, it's aimed at a Western white market.
Yeah,
it is.
I mean, how easy is it for you to get TVC down in Australia then?
It's not impossible because, and it's obviously a lot easier with online retailers now. But to find it in store in like your Walmarts, but they're not called Walmart here. Like say your Big W or your Target, things like that, for example. It's not every wave would come. It's sort of sporadic. So there's even waves of like the Origins lines where forever it wasn't in normal brick and mortar at all until sort of later, after sort of 3 or 4 lines, then it started showing up here. But the only sort of I've seen Battle Cat in Big W, for example, but I've never seen like the Wind Raider or Strider or anything like that.
I mean, it's to be fair, Dan, it's pretty much the same in the UK. I mean, we've got toy stores. We've got like a local Smiths. We've got a local Entertainer, and they used Smiths of Motu Origins. They used to have loads of Star Wars, and then all of a sudden they just stopped. And I went in one day, and I said to the guy working in the store, I said, "Look, you used to have so much Motu, you used to have so much Star Wars. What's happened? Why aren't you getting it in?" He goes, "Because people weren't buying it. It weren't selling." I was like, "What? This is crazy."
So again, and because I'm in sort of a country setting, if you want, like the or sort of like, or again, your department store shops just aren't here. So I've actually got to travel to the local city, which is like 3.5 hours drive one way. If I want to go into do a hunt, for argument's sake, so I go hunting between the different Targets, different BWs, Kmarts, which we still have here. Excuse me. I went into a Kmart 2 towns along the other day, and they had a whole heap of what's the Marvel version of Black Series?
Marvel Legends?
Yeah, Marvel Legends. So they had a whole end cap, and they're all $10 each. Now those things are retailing for like over $40, nearly $50, and it was the latest wave with zombie Iron Man, zombie Wanda.
The What If line,
The What If one and the one which had the builder figure was some sort of tank dude. So they had both of those fully on an end cap, and they're
Yeah.
all reduced down. Like they're already the price was $10. It wasn't actually if it was reduced down for clearance. It just showed up randomly in a country store and they stuck it all on an end cap. And yeah, $10 each type thing. So
Do you think that's the problem, Dan? That when these figures are now released by the retailers and like say and Hasbro put their price point on it, do you think they are overpriced and that's the reason why?
Well, yeah, I do. And for example, so where I saw it was a Kmart, which is sort of, it's not so much an Ollie's or a Ross. It's not like it's a discount store. It's still classed here as like a department store or whatever, like Myers or Walmart, for argument's sake. But it is a cheaper way of buying something there. So like they keep a lower price point if you want to start with. So like you go in there in the Kmart for argument's sake, and that's where you buy your Everlast or your friggin' Lonsdale tracksuit and workout gear type thing. But when that stuff was first released, it cost a lot of money. You know what I mean? But next time in Kmart, for argument's sake, okay, it's not a toy, it's a clothing line, but that's how I put it. It's sort of like a discount place, but it's still a shopping department store if you want. So,
yeah. I mean, I see these like other YouTubers and friends of ours that go into places like Ollie's and they show what they've got. And yeah, they've got a lot of stuff. They really have at decent prices. But they're all like say, main character figures. Like you've got a load of Landos, you've got a load of Rays and stuff like that. They've overdone those kind of characters, right? Do more army builder troopers like stormtroopers, scout troopers, clone troopers, whatever. Do more of those, and do you know what I mean? Because then people can army build them, and then you'll probably find that you won't have so many figures sitting on the shelves because you're not going to army build Lando, you're not going to army build Ray or R2D2 or C3PO, are you? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly right. You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
But even talking to the lads recently, so like the latest thing that's showing up in Ross is things that were never in their Walmarts and Walgreens and stuff like that to start with. Really? So like you've all of a sudden you've got boxes and boxes of archive Grand Moff Tarkin, for argument's sake, or you know what I mean, like Bosts and like all the archive line that never showed up on the pegs to start with has now just been sold off cheap to Ollie's to clear it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but again, they're like cool characters, they're main characters. Why do so many of those kind of figures? It's like do more stormtroopers, do more army builders.
But even things like when the Rogue One version of the AT-AT, for argument's sake, they were clearance down at Ollie's and Ross as well. You know what I mean? Like, and they were. I don't know what they were in the UK, but I know they were like a nearly $400 vehicle to buy. And again, it wasn't in retail here. It was more used in pop culture. So it was. Yes, it's a retail store, but it's more focused on buying online type thing. So a vehicle like that, which was remote controlled and had all the working part from the Rogue One stuff, and I think even to the extent the TVC X-Wings and Blue Leader X-Wings and stuff like that, they were showing up in Ollie's and Ross. Never saw them in Australia. The one that I actually got from New Zealand. So I got Duff buy for me. And I had a mate that was Kiwi. She went back home and she brought it back across for me. She met with Dark Rock and everything that I had bought from New Zealand. I bought back at the same time. Awesome. So it didn't cost anything for postage. She just bought it back in luggage, which was awesome. But again, even in our part of the world, there's stuff that'll show up here in Australia that won't show up in New Zealand, and vice versa. You know what I mean?
Weird.
It's quite bizarre.
Moving on. Do you have a Grail piece that you would really like in your collection? And again, I'll say when I say grail piece, it doesn't have to be the most expensive piece in the world. It could be something that you saw in a store a few months back. You thought you'd go back and get it, and it had gone. You've not seen it since. So, is there anything like that at all, grail piece?
I mean, I'm going to say the obvious one, which was the sail barge, katana sail barge, only because I was able to get the last few HasLabs, whether it be Star Wars or Ghostbusters or whatever.
Yeah.
But that original sail barge was
Yeah.
never available in this part of the world. If the people that I know who have one down here were lucky enough to jump on the UK eBay auction when it went live on UK eBay,
Yeah.
and that's how like Jesse and a few of the other guys that I know in Australia have a sail barge type thing. So that, but I also there's a toy line that came out which was the Clash of the Titans, and I
Yes.
always really wanted to get a Kraken. I thought
Okay.
it was a cool piece. I really like the look of the Kraken. So again, and I don't have any of the original figures from Clash of the Titans anymore. And if it was I'll start collecting again, because obviously a majority of people know the story that I've 75% of my stuff is now gone, you know what I mean? So all my majority of my childhood stuff is now gone. So it is a matter of probably rebuilding some of that as well. Or do I just focus on something totally different, like more high-end stuff for argument's sake? Because, looking at dollar for dollar, like it is plastic. It's a thing that's going to break down eventually. Whereas person statue isn't, for argument's sake. So
this is true.
Do I go more that route now? And I can collect a few Star Wars pieces and things like that.
Well, I was going to say, you saying that about the plastic breaking down eventually. I'm now sitting here thinking, shit, what am I going to do with all this stuff?
Yeah, it was probably never really meant to last more. Well, it's probably gone well past most people's expectations in terms of when we had it as a kid to what it is now. Some beaters, if you go to car boot sales or whatever, you get that sticky residue on it because the stuff that the plastic's been made out of is starting to break down, and as time goes on, it's only probably going to get worse. What about modern stuff? We don't know. We haven't got that far down into the future.
Well, they're using different plastics now, so aren't they?
It is different plastics.
So
so
is it going to be more durable? Is it going to last longer?
Is it more toxic? Will it make your hair fall out?
Well, it's too bloody late for that now, Dan. I've got to say, too late for that, mate.
Yeah, but it's a whole new world. We have to wait and find out and see.
Yeah,
you know what
brilliant.
I mean?
Can't wait.
Yes.
We're getting to the top of the hour, so I've still got some questions for you. So let's crack on with the next one. What made you decide to start a YouTube channel, and did you have any influences?
I had the influence from the Plastic Jesus of the Toy Kingdom, Mark Shelley Geek.
Okay, yep.
But it was more the fact that I do have such a unique, eclectic collection. People are saying, you should start a channel and start showing your stuff type thing. And but it was definitely the support of the community, I guess, that made me start a channel. Okay, I haven't put a lot of stuff on there for a long time, only because I wanted to take it to the next step, so I didn't know how to edit something together properly, which I've recently been taught how to do that. But again, life has sort of got in the way where, somebody steals your whole collection, or, you start a new job and But in the new year, I will start putting out some more regular content apart from the live streams we've been doing type thing. But yeah, it was originally started just to start showing the stuff that was hidden away in boxes, and like I said, unfortunately now it's gone. So there was so much stuff, and some of it's in the photos at the start type thing, where there's statues and things like that people had never seen, and now will not see except for the photos that I've or stills that I've got of them because it's gone. You know what I mean? So look, I still hold hope that maybe someone will slip up and the pieces, because my understanding is it's probably still somewhere here. Just from talking with police and stuff like that, somebody just doesn't know what they're sitting on basically, and there's some pieces in there, i.e. swords, which can be used as weapons, and if someone's taken that with the intention of using it as a weapon, then that will be their undoing, which is unfortunate. But hopefully it leads to bringing someone to justice where I can at least get some key pieces back, which are replaceable. So like, for example, the hot toy of Stan Lee, which has been signed by Stan Lee. I can never get that again. You know what I mean? A taxidermied alligator head, which you can't import into the country anymore. So I had that for over 20 years. You know what I mean? So things like that. A set of tiger shark jaws, which are mounted. Autographs from different stars. Again, like I said, because they're now gone for argument's sake. Not only that, but all my a lot of records and VHS, and not all of it. Again, they it was very weird the way it was taken, because for argument's sake, I found a box which was left behind, which was full of the Friends VHS series. It's a whole series of Friends on VHS. I found that again. You know what I mean? But again, it doesn't hold the same sentiment that Guns N' Roses record might hold, for example, because it was a forbidden fold-out freaking record sleeve type thing.
Okay.
So, they call it the rape cover. The content that was shown on there type thing. But it's a record from the 80s, you know what I mean? Again, it's your childhood. All my brand is EdFive, so EdFive is the mascot of my favourite band, Iron Maiden. Most of my Iron Maiden collectibles are gone now, you know what I mean? So, which is heartbreaking, because again, it's not an easy thing to find. It took a lot of years of sourcing. You know what I mean? When you lose something, the only way I can describe it to you is it's as if you've lost someone really close to you. That's what happens with it's 40 your entire life, something you've had for your entire life is now no longer there. You know what I mean? So it's a very surreal sort of feeling to try and get your head around on something like that happen. And God think, it would be the same sort of feeling if it was lost in a fire or a flood. You know what I mean? But the fact that some scumbags come in and taking something which you bled for, you've worked for, whatever it may be, you know what I mean? So you haven't got that thing to admire, look at, that's wow, the wow factor. I remember the exact place and time where I got that, or the exact place and time where I shook this man's hand and he autographed something for me, and now it's gone. Things like that. Okay, yes, you have the memory, but it'd be nice to have the piece that you bought to keep that memory type thing, because it's a thing.
Well, as you're talking about this, I mean, I normally leave this question to last, but I'll ask you it now, and I feel kind of bad asking you this question because of what you've been through. But what does your collection mean to you?
The collection is life, Stu. Like it's a lifelong journey, um, and and for me, it will. Well, I know in my own within myself that it will never stop because I like to have the material things that make me happy.
Yeah,
It's hard to put that into a perspective now because that childhood stuff has been taken. And
yeah,
yes, I can still replace it. Is it my childhood stuff? No, it's not. It's the same thing that looks exactly what I had, but it's not
yeah,
mine. So yeah, look, it just takes you back to a better place. Like, okay, like I said, I can look at this all day,
yeah,
and it takes you back to sitting on the floor, eating a bowl of cereal, even though it might be night time. I'm watching Walk on Channel 7, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Or um, or sticking a VHS tape into a machine
mm,
and sitting back and watching the original Star Wars, which was called Star Wars back in the day. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
So those things now have gone. So yes, I've just recently lost a VHS player and the tapes. You know what I mean? So they've not only got the player, they've not only got my gaming consoles, they've not only got my records and whatever else I can list off type thing. And but yeah, at the end of the day, you know, the police say, "Oh, what's it worth?" Well, it's half of it is priceless because it's stuff that it's a memory.
sentimental value,
It's a
sentimental value,
sentimental value.
surely. Yeah,
Exactly
yeah,
right. You know
yeah.
what I mean? So, yeah.
I mean, just another quick question going on about that sentimentality and what collecting can mean to people. Do you think that people on the outside that don't really have anything to collect, or they don't collect, like, say, for example, toys or memorabilia or stuff like that, do you think it's difficult for them to kind of comprehend just how much sentimentality there is, or how much comfort it brings to people with if it goes missing or if it gets stolen or
It does, but when you start breaking it down to them in this way, okay, what was in there was things like gold and silver. Now, that was an investment for my future, whether it's for the kids or it's my superannuation for retirement, or it's things of value which are always going to hold value and only increase in value. Is
yeah.
things like gold and silver. So that sort of stuff is gone now. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And when you start relaying it to the money side of things to somebody, then that's when it would probably hit home more than okay, it's a collectible because of this reason. You know what I mean? It actually does have a value, a tangible value where I can go and sell this or get to somebody who can melt it down and turn it into something else. But at
yeah.
least I can actually give them that whatever, and it's actually worth X amount of dollars straight away, like right now. It's a tangible investment piece, you know. And so,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I really do hope that you do get a better lead, or the police get a better lead, and you can be at least reunited with
It
some of
would be
your
good, mate. It
stuff.
would be good. Like I said, just for some of the key pieces which it
Yeah,
can't be replaced.
yeah,
Unfortunately, the worst part about it is that there is no insurance because it wasn't kept with the rest of the stuff that's still here under home and contents insurance. So,
yeah.
um,
Mm.
yeah,
Always a bloody loophole, isn't there, with insurance?
there's
Bastards.
always a loophole.
Always
There's
a bloody
always
loophole.
reasons they don't want to
Yeah.
bloody pay you. That's for sure.
Well, I've got one more question for you, so we'll crack on with that. What gives you
Yeah.
that toy collecting buzz?
Well, the buzz is a bit like sticking a blowfly up your nose. It's something which has meaning. It resonates with you for a long
Yeah,
time, and yeah, it's it, look. collected. I've kept it, whatever, because it's a warm, comfy blanket that
Yeah.
you just wrap around you, and it's so immersive. It takes you back to a place where, back in the late 70s, I was, holding this figure and watching this cartoon, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's just, just so many emotional memories of better times, of things that, it's the Peter Pan syndrome. You wish you never had
Yeah.
grown up type thing.
Yeah.
And
Right. Yeah.
and it's a place where I would have loved to have spent the rest of my endless days type thing. But unfortunately, reality doesn't keep us there like that. So,
Yeah. No, unfortunately, it doesn't.
but
Well,
collecting will always go on, mate. For me, it
yeah.
really will. Like I'll regroup, rebuild. I'll become back stronger and everything
Good to
else.
hear. Good to
Yeah,
hear.
so that's all good.
Now, talking about warm, cozy blankets that wrap round you, right? Not
Yes,
necessarily a warm, cozy blanket, but you had something else wrapped around you a bit early, didn't you? So, do you want to
I did. I
go and
did.
show other? Do
Well,
you want to show people what else you collect?
I'll be right back.
Yeah, yeah, I can't wait. Yeah,
I'll be right back with
yeah, I'm sure you will. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
my best friend.
yeah.
And
Oh, look at the state of that. Yeah. Oh,
so
gee.
I'm a collector of reptiles. I love reptiles. I've always loved reptiles, even as a kid.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so my reptile collection will be building in the new year as well. So I've got a couple of lizards
Oh, that's
coming.
nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good to hear.
But yeah, it's it's my version of a golden retriever, but he's much easier to keep than a golden retriever. I don't have to take him for walks if I don't feel like it. Um,
Yeah, the only difference between that and a golden retriever is a golden retriever don't try to swallow you. Look at this. Look at that.
yeah,
And you were
that's it.
saying it's. I mean, look at this. What made your face? For goodness sake,
He's
man.
not going to have a face, for God's sake.
I mean,
He
oh
loves.
no.
He's loving. He loves me. He loves
Really?
me.
Yeah. Yeah, he'd
Yes.
love to swallow your whole. I'll
Yes.
give you that. Jesus. So
When
you were
he gets,
saying he's how tall now?
he's 6'2", so
Good God.
six. So what am I? I'm 5'9". So yeah, this guy's
Mm.
taller than me if I was to stretch him out for the length.
Is there any? Is he gonna look at us? Look at it. Gee whiz. Yeah.
At
Oh,
fully grown, he'll be over 3 meters.
so hang on. He's not fully
Fully
grown
grown.
yet. He's not fully grown
No,
yet. Good
this
God.
guy lived for 25 years. He's
And
currently.
does he get any thicker, any wider, or is that
Oh
just?
hell yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
Not only will he get longer, he'll also get thicker. So at the moment, he'll eat a small rat. So like what they call a hopping rat, which is sort of, it's got fur. It's not an adult rat, so it's not as what you would see down near the drain pipe type thing. He's not quite at that
Right.
stage yet. But as his head grows bigger, he will grow bigger into bigger food, and eventually I'll be feeding him rabbits when he's fully grown, and a rabbit might last him a whole
Jesus
month.
A whole month.
Yeah, a whole month. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. Brilliant. Dan, that has come to the end of the chat, mate. I've got to say thank you so much. It's been absolutely awesome speaking to you. Thank you so much.
It's
And
been a pleasure having you, mate, and
you can
thank
put
you.
your snake away if you like, or you can keep him out. It's up to you, man.
That's what she said. That's what she said.
Well, when you said to me earlier, do you want to see my python? I was like, oh, ain't not that kind of show,
Oh,
mate.
yeah.
Where can people find you on social media, my friend?
So on YouTube, on EdFive Plastic Planet Down Under, or on Instagram, Aussie Blue Snaggletooth.
Yeah.
Is my Instagram. Facebook is pretty much it's mainly for family and close friends type thing. And yeah, definitely Instagram or YouTube is where you'll find me. I did have a Twitter, but I haven't. I've actually lost the login for it. Now it's
Oh,
gone to
okay.
X. So,
Well, what I'll do then is I'll leave the links to your YouTube and Instagram social media platforms in the description below. So yeah,
sweet.
and people can hook you
Awesome.
up and follow you on Instagram. Listen, mate, once again, that's bloody snake. Absolutely awesome speaking to you, man. Really do appreciate you taking part. And as I say to all of my guests, it's because of people like you that keep this show going, or this series going. So thank you very much. If you stayed with us to the end, thank you so much. Really appreciate your support. Take care, stay safe, and we shall see you in the next one. Take care and bye
Thanks.
for now. No worries. Cheers, man.